Are you newish to Premiere Pro and while you're working on an edit, you get frustrated because you don't know how to do something, but you know there's a way to do it? If so, you've come to the right video because we're gonna look at the top things new Premiere Pro editors wish they knew how to do. I'm gonna teach you how to do them so you no longer have those frustrations. With that, let's hop in there. Okay, so when you're in Premiere Pro with some footage and ready to edit, before you create a sequence to edit on, you may want to look at your clips in an easier way. Let's do this by, in the project panel, clicking on icon view, which will show thumbnails. I'll click on my footage folder, drag this footage folder bin bigger, and now you can see the actual footage in each of these clips, which makes it very easy to find specific clips. You can also use this slider to increase the size of these clips to get an even closer look. We can use this slider on the side of our bin, drag it up, and now I can see this clip of horses, and we'll use this clip to create a sequence. To do this, right-click on the clip and select New Sequence from Clip. The great thing about doing this is that the sequence will be created using the same settings as your clip. We now have our sequence in our timeline here with our clip on it. Let's close this footage bin by clicking on the X and check this footage out on our timeline by dragging our cursor from left to right to scrub through the clip. To adjust the sizing of any of your panels, hover your cursor over the edge of the panel, click on it, and drag it to where you're happy with it. You'll notice this clip's upside down. Let's go to our Effect Controls panel. Where it says Rotation, click on the 0 and type in 180 so that your clip rotates 180 degrees, and now it's upright. We could also hover our cursor over this number and drag this number to the right or to the left to rotate our clip however we'd like. I'll press Command Z on my keyboard to undo that. Great. In our Effect Controls panel, we can also scale into this clip by clicking on 100 where it says Scale and increasing that number. I don't like to push this number too high because the more you zoom into a clip, the more you're degrading the quality of it. But for the purpose of showing you this, let's zoom in to 130. You can also adjust the position of your clip by using the X-axis and scrolling the clip to the right or left, and using the Y-axis to change the position of the height of the clip. As you edit in Premiere Pro more and more, at some point you're likely going to work on a project where you need to use a color matte. To create a color matte, in your project panel, click on the new item icon, choose color matte, press OK, and a color picker window pops up. So I think this is really cool. Let's say there's a color in your clip that you want your color matte to be. You can grab this eyedropper, hover it over the area of your clip that you'd like your color matte to be, click, and now let's press OK. We can name our color matte. I'll call it orange and press OK. In our project panel, let's click on list view, and by default, our color matte went into our footage folder. You'll notice our sequence did as well. Let's select both of those by clicking on them and drag them out of this footage folder to stay nice and organized. We can click on this drop-down arrow to close up our footage bin. Great. Let's drag our orange color matte onto our timeline to the V2 track so that it sits above our clip. And I want to change the color of it a little bit to make it more orange. We can do this by double clicking on the color matte. And now in our color picker box, we can hover our cursor over whichever color we like. I like this orange, so I'll press OK. Awesome. Let's take a look at how to use the crop tool by going over to the effect panel, typing in crop, there it is, and dragging the crop effect onto our orange color matte. Let's go to our Effect Controls panel. Where it says top, let's drag the 0 to the right to crop the top of our matte to around 78%. Let's drag the bottom to 4%. Bring the right side inward a little bit and the left side as well. That's one way to crop. Let's undo this so I can show you how to use a crop shape matte. To undo the adjustments we've made where our effect is, we can click this circular arrow to undo. Now we're going to do something a little bit more advanced, which is creating a mask. Let's select this rectangle box to create a crop mask, and the mask outline appears on our program monitor. We can hover our cursor over it, which brings up this hand icon, and by clicking down, we can move this mask wherever we'd like. To increase the length of this rectangle, let's click down on the top right corner point of the mask, hold down Shift on our keyboard so that we can select a second point of the mask, Let's select the bottom right point and drag it to the right. By pulling this little circle here on our mask up, we increase the feather around the mask to the parts of this checkered blue border, and you'll see how this looks in 1 sec. Let's go over, under crop, and drag our left percentage to the right, and you can see that doing this is cropping the inside of this rectangle mask, and notice that the edges are blurred or feathered. Let's undo that because I actually want the rectangle mask to contain the orange color rather than crop it out. To do this, let's check mark inverted. And now when we adjust the left side of our crop, we're cropping everything outside of the mask from the left rather than on the inside of it. Not really liking that feathered look, so we can adjust it by going under the mask, and where it says mask feather, we can bring the percentage to 0 to create a crisp edge. Let's create a title in this rectangle by selecting this T, which is the text tool, hovering over the rectangle in our program monitor and typing. I'll type Horses of Iceland. Select this text, and in Effect Controls, it now shows text. Click on the drop-down arrow to bring up text options. Under source text, we can use this slider to increase the size of our text. Let's scroll down a bit. And under transform, we can adjust the position of our text to sit more in the center of our rectangle. Let's scroll up, and under source text, we can click on the drop-down menu to choose a different text. You can type in the text you're looking for. I'll type Arial and select Arial Bold. Now, while I just showed you a really quick way to work with text in Premiere Pro, as you continue editing, you're gonna be working with text all the time. So I highly recommend you check out my YouTube video, I'll link it above, about how to use the Essential Graphics panel, because that tutorial deep dives into how to customize your text and do a lot of cool stuff with it. Now we have a text layer above our color mat. Let's drag each side of it longer to match the length of our color mat so they're both even. And now we're gonna do something that I and many other professional video editors do all the time, and that's called nesting. We'll nest these two layers together by selecting both of them, right-clicking, and choosing Nest. You'll see what nesting multiple clips does in a second. First, let's name this nest Horses of Iceland with Color Mat so we can clearly see the name of it with the reference to what's inside of it while we work. Okay, you'll notice these two layers have become one. Let's double click on this nest to open it up, and these two layers now exist in this nested sequence. Nesting footage or layers helps reduce the clutter on your timeline by giving you the ability to have multiple tracks with multiple assets live in a nested sequence rather than on the timeline you're working on. Next, let's work with another clip by double-clicking in our footage folder, and I'll select this clip of horses and drag it onto our timeline. When I bring my cursor over top of it, you'll see in the program monitor that this clip isn't taking up the entire size of the frame. That's because our sequence settings are 4K like the first clip, and the second clip isn't 4K. We can check the resolution of this new clip by going to our footage bin, choosing list view, and you'll see in the video info that this particular clip is 1920 by 1080 compared to the other clips that are 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. Let's X out of that bin, and I want to zoom in a bit more on my timeline. To do that, you can press the plus key on your keyboard a few times, and we can scale the size of this clip up by right-clicking on it and selecting scale to frame size. Again, especially if you're editing a professional project, overall I don't recommend scaling the size of your clips in too much, but in some cases being able to do this does come in handy. And let's look at how to reverse clips by right-clicking on this one, choosing speed duration, check marking reverse speed, and OK. And as you can see, this clip is reversed. We'll right-click on it again, go into speed duration again, uncheck reverse speed, and instead let's increase the speed of this clip by 200%. OK. And now with my cursor close to the beginning of this clip, I'll press the spacebar to review it, and we have doubled the speed of it. And there you go. Those are some of the most common things that new Premiere Pro editors wish they knew how to do. Now you know how to do them. And remember, if I missed one, let me know in the comments below what you want to learn how to do in Premiere Pro, and I'll likely make a video about it. Thanks for checking this video out. If you want to be a better filmmaker, subscribe to our channel because we release 1 to 2 videos a week about how to do just that, and I look forward to seeing you in another one.